Hello and welcome to another fun-filled episode of the weekly Deathmatch. This time, the status of my being, I guess. I think I'm getting over the cold finally, but I still might sound a little bit stuffy. I might be wrong. I think I'm allergic to the paint that they're using to paint the hallways in work. I think that's what's going on with me, because I felt absolutely fine before I walked into work this morning, and when I walked into work, and my sinuses imploded, so I kind of stopped and I thought back about all the other times when my sinuses imploded in the last month, and I thought, well, shit, maybe that's why. But I also might be wrong. It might just be coincidence, or it might be something else that's triggering it that I've not noticed. But as you may have noticed, this is CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, for all you normies out there. And, yeah, I do a lot of fucking dumb shit in this video. I'm not good at CSGO, I talked about this last time, but this time I'm playing against actual people in Deathmatch. But I'm really not good at Counter-Strike, so expect a lot of gaffes and whiffs and farts. And speaking of farts, I've been rewatching Doctor Who. Yep, that's that segue. Actually, no. Before I go on to that, I do just want to say, as far as Counter-Strike goes, I'm considering making some kind of video which is just me, because I always play Counter-Strike Deathmatch mode, which, as I mentioned before, is really not how it's meant to be played. So I've been considering some sort of video of clips cut together where I actually try and play Counter-Strike proper. I don't know whether I'd do casual or competitive. Probably casual to start with, but it'd be pretty funny just sucking, I guess. Because I never used to like the aspect of being eliminated in Counter-Strike, and then having to sit and wait for the end of the round. I was more of an arena shooter kind of guy, so naturally that's not the kind of gameplay. Like, this is a tactical shooter. I'm not a tactical shooter kind of guy, I guess, but I do enjoy the base gameplay of Counter-Strike, so I don't know, maybe I could become a tactical shooter kind of guy. So maybe that's something that'll happen in the future. I hope you all liked Christian vs. Dead Space video. There, one of you that watched it. It's fine. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. But going back to Doctor Who, so I've been rewatching Doctor Who, and this is really not a cohesive narrative, is it? Oh no. I've been rewatching Doctor Who, and I just got to the Slovene episode, or double episode, because that needed to be 2 episodes, and anyone who's seen that series of Doctor Who knows what I'm talking about. Basically, the villains in that double-parter, it's just really bad. It's so bad. I'm glad that debuted when I was 11. No, not 11. 10? 9 or 10. Because I actually enjoyed watching it. I would have been 9, actually, I think. Yeah. I'm glad I watched it when I was 9, because I enjoyed it. And I think it probably turned a lot of people off of the series, that episode. Maybe. Possibly. But generally speaking, the older Doctor Who episodes are always better than I seem to remember them being. Like, I've rewatched them a few times, and every single time I remember coming away like, hey, that was pretty good. But, like, every time I think about them, like, a little time after I've rewatched them, so just like normally, I'm thinking like, oh, I didn't really like the episodes, which is a complete lie, and I don't know why I keep forgetting that, and why I keep changing that idea in my head. But what I'm doing is I'm watching every episode, and then I'm writing a short tweet or 2 about it, every single one, in a thread on my Twitter account, because we live in an age where you have to share every little opinion you have, and sure, I'll conform to that. Trump's a dick. There's an opinion. Out of left field. Literally. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. This is a bit of a weird one. I do apologise. So there's that. Diablo Immortal. That's the thing. Diablo Immortal got announced for phones, and before I talk about gamer outrage, I'll just go ahead and voice my disappointment about Diablo Immortal. I really, really wanted... So they kind of downplayed the announcement, because they said that big things were in store for Diablo. And then they downplayed it before BlizzCon. They said, hey, we're not announcing Diablo 4, basically. But they also kind of said they're working on it, like, unofficially, kind of. Well, they didn't say they're working on Diablo 4, but they said they're working on a Diablo game, kind of. I don't remember their exact wording, that's what I took away from it anyway. And so I'm excited for that eventually. But I thought the way they were talking, there was going to be some kind of either expansion for Diablo 3 or some big Diablo 3 update or some remaster of Diablo 1 or 2. But we got a remaster of Warcraft 3, so that's nice. But man, I was just super disappointed. The second he said mobile, I was like, no. Please no. I thought at the very least it would be like Elder Scrolls Blades, so it would be like mobile and PC, and it could function as like a PC game, like a lighter version of Diablo, I guess, but still a PC game. But they've said they're not planning on any PC ports, and judging by the look of the game, I can see why. It's very much a mobile game, and it's very much not the kind of thing I feel like I'd want to play. But more than that, that's my response. That's a fan's response to a fan of a series' response to that announcement. What is not what am I saying? What's a little bit over the top is, so I was disappointed and I talked about it for a couple of hours, and then I kind of laughed about it, kind of stopped caring. I make jokes about it in reference. I talk about my disappointment if it comes up, but I don't spend hours screaming about it into the internet, calling the developers all sorts of names, saying that Blizzard is dying, Blizzard's lost touch with its fans. I mean, okay, losing touch with fans, I guess that's a bit of a valid criticism, even if it is a bit biting. But there's so much vitriol, and this is honestly something I've been noticing more and more lately. Everyone who loves their games fucking hates their games, and it's staggering the just amount of bitterness that people have for the games and worlds they love. Like, go to any subreddit of any game as a service, go to the Destiny subreddit, go to the Diablo subreddit, World of Warcraft, any of them. Forza Horizon, okay? Forza Horizon is a fantastic game, Forza Horizon 4, and when they come out, people sing its praises. But then those people, after 3 or 4 weeks, finish with the game, and they move on to something else. And only the people who are going to play it for the next year of their life are the ones left. And they're the ones who take a nitpick, and they make it the biggest problem of their life. They have been personally wronged by the fact that in Forza Horizon 4, you have free roam events, and that means that, you know, four-wheel drive cars, I don't really fucking know much about cars and that kind of thing, but it means that off-road cars are always favoured in that game mode. And okay, I haven't seen it so much on the Forza subreddit. I've seen a lot of complaining. The worst I've seen it is on games like World of Warcraft and Destiny, where people just, it's like they've been personally wronged, and at the end of the day, yeah, it's a game you play every day of your life, but it's also a game. It's not the end of the world. There's other games if you're that upset about it, and just why are you so angry and full of hatred? And Lawrence Sontag from Funhouse actually recently put a tweet out saying that while it's not an excuse, the reason behind it is that a lot of these people who play these games have really, really bad lives, and it's an escape, and when that escape isn't to their liking, then everything is going to come out. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I hadn't viewed it that way before. Like, that was kind of like a possibility in the back of my mind, but I hadn't really given it much thought, and that is sad. And like, that's probably problems with society being mirrored in the gaming world, I guess, in a weird kind of way. But it makes me sad, because I play games to escape all of that kind of shit, and with the evolution of games as a service, and therefore games being patched from being good into ways people no longer like, or not being patched and staying bad and not being something that people can enjoy, they then make a lot more noise about it than if it was just a single player game that was released and done and it got a bad review. So you keep hearing about it and people keep screaming about it because they want it to be changed, I guess. And it's just a shame that it's got into the state that it is. but maybe Diablo Immortal is a decent mobile game, and maybe they'll announce Diablo 4 in a few months or a year, and maybe it's an overreaction. Maybe there's valid criticisms in there that are being drowned out by a very loud few, and maybe I'm running out of space to talk, and I'll see you again next week. Sorry for the ramble. Oh god.